know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
Now look, Doc, we're buddies, okay? But don't try to convert me.
I'm trying to prepare you.
My name's Marquay, Dr. Marquay, a scientist interested in the supernatural. The unnatural, if you like. I came to Hill House to find the key to another world. Assisting me in this exploration of the unknown was Eleanor, Nell, who could look back into the past, and Theo, something of a witch, who could see into the future. This is Luke, who didn't believe in anything, until evil, patient and waiting, made him change his mind.
Stop it! God. God. Whose hand was I holding?
How many of us take seriously the things we cannot or do not want to understand, simply because we are afraid?
Eleanor, you're Paul! Did you hear me calling?
Oh, this house. You have to watch it every minute.
The Haunting was produced and directed by Robert Wise, brilliant producer of West Side Story. The stars consist of a cross-section of top talent in the world of entertainment. Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, Russ Tamblyn.
What does it take to convince you that the dead do not always rest in peace? That some houses, like Hill House, are born bad?
That ended suddenly, didn't it? Got me by surprise. Sorry I'm late. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. Sci-Fi Quest is really scared. That was the trailer for The Haunting. Welcome to Friday night, Appointment with Fear. We're doing The Haunting, the 1963 original, not the rubbish 1999 version with Catherine Zeta-Jones. And no, where are we? Where is it? Up here. Joshua Kanapke says, why are you doing a double feature? The Liam Neeson Catherine Zeta-Jones one, because that one's rubbish. And he also says, today is my bae's birthday. Which one? I've got lots of baes. Anyway, thank you for hanging on and waiting for me. Sorry, I was just running behind, that's all. I was just running behind. I had to watch the film, and I was just behind schedule. So we're doing The Haunting. So, but before we start, I've got a bloody jacket. I've got a different jacket on today, and I keep catching. Where were I? We're live on YouTube. Yes, we are. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Rumble. We're live on Twitch. Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram, so you can follow me on those social medias there. Links are in the description for all that stuff, as are the links for other stuff. As are the links to my 2 books, Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action-adventure about UFOs and stuff like that. With a burp. Oh, pardon me. And Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats eating people in North Yorkshire. They're on Amazon Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. Oh, you know, it's a bit of fun, that's all. Right. The Haunting, 1963. Based on the book The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Produced and directed by Robert Wise. Written by some other bloke who I can't remember. Hang on. I've forgotten already. Nelson Gidding, that's it. Nelson Gidding. Stars Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, Russ Tamblyn, and others. Who else is in it? Faye Compton, Rosalie Crutchley, Lois Maxwell, Valentine Dial, and others. There's not a massive cast. It's set in New England, in the northeast of the United States, but it's actually filmed in the UK, either at is it Ettington Hall, something like that. Let me just check. I've got it written down here somewhere. Where are we? Yes, Ettington Park, which is now the Ettington Park Hotel. That where the exteriors were filmed, the interiors were filmed on a soundstage at Borehamwood Studios in Hertfordshire. What was the budget? The budget was just over $1 million, and its box office was just over $1 million. It didn't make money. It's classed as a horror film, but I don't class it as a horror film. It's more of a chiller than a horror film, 'cause it's not essentially horrific. But anyway, that's by the by. Right, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's get on with it. So I'll make myself titsy tiny. As I do. There we go. And we'll get on with it as usual. Hang on, let me go full screen. There we go. Shush. Oh, I didn't mute it. As usual, I'll not be watching the film because I get into trouble with YouTube and all that, copyright. I wish I hadn't put this jacket on. I thought I'd have a change. I've got 2 leather jackets, and I thought I'd have a change this week, and I forgot this one's got longer sleeves than my other one. And I keep catching it. Let me look at them. Anyway, never mind. Right, I forgot what I was saying now. Never mind. Oh, yes, won't be just watching it. Get into trouble with YouTube, copyright and all that. So we're watching it in a series of stills. I may play the odd clipette. I'll try and remember the information I've gleaned from the commentary and stuff I've read. So, but we'll off we go. Right, so there we go. MGM, Metro-Goldwyn Mayer. By the way, filmed in black and white. Robert Wise, who you may know from such films as Star Trek the Motion Picture, The Sound of Music, West Side Story. He's done everything. He's done everything as Robert Wise. He says he wanted to film it in black and white, because for the stark detail and stuff, he could get in black and white. But also, I think because they also chose black and white so they could do the exteriors of Ettington Hall. Here we go. The exteriors were actually filmed on infrared film, which makes the sky look black. It's probably filmed in daytime, but it just makes the sky look black and the clouds white. But anyway, so here they are, the credits. The Haunting, starring Julie Harris. Blah, blah, blah. And also, don't forget, as I said, it was remade in 1999, badly. Directed by, Jan LeBont. Terrible film. As in this film, a lot is left to the imagination. Pretty much everything, apart from a door, is left to the imagination. But in the 1999 Haunting, everything was on screen, wasn't it? But anyway, oh, for God's sake. Oh, yes. Oh, is it Elizabeth Olsen's birthday today? Oh, right. Yes, she is. She's my future wife. So Amazon could remake this as their own IP now. Could oh, yes, because it's MGM in it. I don't know. But it was remade, wasn't it? On for Netflix, The Haunting of Hill House. Loosely based on this and the book. I've not read the book, but I presume this is closer to the book than the series. Anyway, so this is where we learn about Hill House. The film's set in 1963, and the house was built just over 90 years early, so 1870-ish. So we're learning about it. There we go. Built by a man named Hugh Crane as a home for his wife and daughter. Apparently, we're a bit of a nutter, a religious person. But his wife was killed in an accident when the horses bolted and the carriage crashed into a tree, and his young wife was killed. So he had to bring up his daughter by himself. There he is, reading from the Bible. And obviously not a very good father, because essentially he buggered off. He buggered off to England, where he died in a drowning accident. But not yet, because he got married again. That's it. He got married again, and she fell down the stairs. as we saw in the trailer, there she goes, falling down the stairs. So she died. But there's a hint that she was pushed. Is that a bit of a shadow there? Was it Abigail, or was it, the ghost of his first wife, or was it just the house itself which is evil? It's like the Marston house, isn't it, from Salem's Lot? It is, anyway. Just looking up, it says, shut up, Sci-Fi Quest, don't give them ideas for more things to trash. Yes, I don't think they will, because as I said, it's just been redone, hasn't it, on Netflix a few years ago. I'm going to read one of your screenplays. Any suggestions to start with? One of mine? I don't know. You won't like them. Just take your pick. A lot of famous birthdays. Is there? I haven't checked. I haven't checked. And they don't need any ideas. This place is a tomb. Like Moria. Anyway, where were we? So then he buggered off to England and died in a drowning accident. Well, just say drowned. But anyway, whatever. Leaving young Abigail with, a nanny, whatever. And she grew old there, and there they do a dissolve of her from a young girl to a man, and then to an old woman. All of them look nothing alike. They've all got different shaped mouths, look. Lips are different and noses and everything. Couldn't they find somebody that at least looked a little bit alike? But never mind. So she stayed in the nursery until her death. There she was looked after by a companion. But the companion was away canoodling one night there on the veranda with a farm hand as Abigail called for her and then died. The rumours were that she murdered Abigail, but she just didn't go calling, which has a parallel to Eleanor's story, which we're gonna get into soon. But we're still getting the flashbacks. The what they call it? My brain stopped working. Hang on. No, never mind. So anyway, like I said, there were rumours that she murdered that the companion murdered Abigail. So obviously, something compelled the companion, whose name we never know, to go up the spiral staircase with a neatly wound rope, and she hung herself. Sorry, get it right, Steve. She hanged herself. There you go. It even says that. Hanged her, not hung herself. Can't see the subtitles, can we? I'm going to have to change that, aren't I? Just bear with me. Bear with me. There we go. There we go. Anyway, she hanged herself and a shoe fell off. And there we go. And then after the companion's death, so let's say it must have been reasonably recently in terms of the film, it passed on to a distant relative called Mrs. Sanderson. By the way, all the actors in this film, apart from Julie Harris and Russ Tamblyn, are either British or Commonwealth actors, because that were the rules if you wanted to film at the time. I don't know if they still are, I doubt it. But at the time, the rules, if you wanted to film something in Britain, you could only have 2 non-British or non-Commonwealth actors. So all the actors we see are either British or from the Commonwealth. There's a Canadian chap. Who I've seen in, what have I seen him in? I think Aliens, We'll see him anyway when we get there. So, Dr. Marquay, Richard Johnson, goes to see Mrs. Sanderson, and he's asking to rent the house for a while. What's it, a few weeks? There we go. To rent the house to do his psychic study. To investigate the haunted house. But she's unsure. But this chap, no idea who he is. I don't know if he's her husband or what, I don't know. Or just the family solicitor, lawyer, whatever, I don't know. But he says, he'll be fine. And they decide to send, her nephew, who's due to inherit the house, is Russ Tamblyn, is going to accompany Dr. Marquay and his group of volunteers. So she reluctantly allows him to lease the house. So there we go. she's asking about the people, his assistants, and there good. People have been selected after painstaking research. I don't know why she don't like the sound of that. Oh, why, some of them are women. She asks, are any of them women? He says, some of them, yes. Oh, I do like the sound of that. That's what she asks if he's married. And this is where we learn he's married. Then that pays off later on in the film. And Josh Temple's arrived. Yeah. Harpoons don't work on ghosts, I don't think. Unless they're iron. Maybe if they're iron, maybe they will. I don't know. But you haven't missed anything. We were late starting. So, anyway. Right, so this is where he suggests that young, whatever the hell Russ Tamblin's character's called. Let me check. I've forgotten. Oh dear, where are we? Where the hell are we? I don't bloody know. Luke, that's it. I should remember that, shouldn't I? Young Luke, there we go, is going to accompany them and keep an eye on the property. Basically make sure that Dr. Markway isn't shagging all the women. I think that's what she's getting at. Anyway, so there we go. So off he goes. Right, then we cut to... there's going through his list. Apparently this list, there's a Joshua there, gang. All the Joshuas are here, aren't there? And there's one more there on the board. Apparently all these names, apart from Eleanor Lance and Theodore, are all, I think, friends or relatives of, the production crew, something like that. Hang on, I've got it. I've highlighted it somewhere. I don't know. I've highlighted it somewhere. I can't really remember where it was. Never mind. But anyway, another thing I've highlighted here. This is in the trivia from IMDb. Director Martin Scorsese named this his favourite horror film. As I said, I don't class this as a horror film. But anyway. Where did I see it now? Where did I see it, this list? Oh, never mind. Right. So, where were we? He's going through his list, so ticking some of them. So some of them are supposed to be appearing. For some reason, Theodore has got a question mark next to her name. But as we see, in the end, only Theo and Eleanor turn up. All these others, even though they've got ticks next to them, never turn up. Right, so off we go. There we go. And then we cut to Eleanor's... where she's living. She's living with her sister. She's had a pretty sad life. It's a bit of a tragedy, to be completely honest, is this. She's had a sad life. Her mother died a couple of months previously to this, and she spent her entire life looking after her mother, an invalid mother, who apparently wasn't the nicest of people. So she's had a hard life. She's not had any time for herself. And now she's living with her sister, sleeping on her sister's couch, because she's, I don't know, maybe the house that her mother lived in didn't go to her or whatever, I don't know. Maybe the bank foreclosed on it, I don't know. But she's living on her sister's couch and not getting on well with her sister. That's her sister. That's her sister's husband. That's her niece, their kid. And they don't seem to get on very well. This is... I forgot the bloody name now. What is blooming name? Where are we? Paul Maxwell. Oh, I think he's in Aliens. I think he plays the. Let me check. The like head honcho chap from Wayland Yutani. Yes, it is. He plays Van Leeuwen in Aliens. Yes, I thought it were him. Anyway, so. She's wanting the car. She's got the letter off Dr. Markway. She's accepted his invitation to go and take part in this experiment. But she's not telling them anything about it. She says she just wants to borrow the car, which is jointly owned apparently by her and her sister. She says, I paid for half of it. So I want to take the car to go on this vacation. But she won't let her. So they have a big row. She's a bit highly strung, is Eleanor, and a bit neurotic, and she does lose her temper quite quickly. But maybe it's just the style of filmmaking and script writing back then. I don't know, but she's not very calm. So she's just freak out, especially when a little bratty kid starts teasing her. But she starts blinking. Look, she's blinking. Look, Auntie Nell is blinking. Dear, I'd have battered that kid to death with one of them pokers. I would, but never mind. So they don't let her have the car, so she takes it anyway. Van Leeuwen, he won't let it. He's very calm in this. You know, he's calm in Aliens. He's very calm in this. Maybe that's all the only acting he can do. He can be calm. Anyway. So, she tells him to get out. She has a row. She says, get out. She says, you're in my living room. She says, this is also my bedroom and I paid half your rent and all that. So anyway, there you go. But anyway, she says, you're not having the car, so bugger off. So he says, I'm taking... The answer is no. I'm therefore going anyway, to quote Admiral Kirk. Her sister and that family treat her pretty terribly. Yes, they are. They're not very nice, are they? But anyway, but it seems like she's been living in their living room, sleeping on their couch for 2 months. So she's not tried to find anywhere to live. I don't know, but anyway, whatever. But there you go. She's gone to get the car from the parking garage. Or garage, there it is. That's played by me. Oh, dear. She proves who she is. He says, you're not Mrs. Fredericks. He says, no, I'm Eleanor Lance, her sister. And she shows ID and stuff. So she gets the car. And then she drives out. And they go from Boston Underground Parking. Is this actually in Boston? I don't know. I said it was filmed in the UK, but I don't know if all of it was. Maybe they sent out, second unit to get some shots, in New England. I don't know. Or maybe this is in the UK. I don't know. They just stuck up an American street sign on a corner somewhere. I've no idea. But anyway, so off she goes. And we're listening. There we go. She's reading the letter from Marquis, giving her the directions. And then we cut to a sequence that just reminds me of Psycho. She's driving a car and the thoughts are in her head. And even the music at times is very much like Psycho, which came out 3 years earlier. But anyway, so she's happy that she's leaving. Then she says she's not going back. Apparently she's got all her belongings in a suitcase and a box. That box there. Oh, bloody jacket. That box there and the suitcase on the back seat. That's all her worldly belongings. So anyway, off she goes. I mean, that doesn't look very British, that road, does it? Plus, she's driving on the wrong side of the road. But I don't. In the 60s, did we have telegraph poles like that? I don't know. So maybe they sent a second unit out to get some, B-roll or whatever you want to call it. Right, so there you go. She's having these thoughts. They would never have suspected it of me. Much like Marion Crane in Psycho. She's going through all this. But she doesn't get followed by a policeman. Anyway, so off she goes. And she's thinking about what she's going to do. She's going to have a little house with stone lions. There we go. Just like that. So she's looking at that. And then she gets to Hill House. There's the gates, and we see that they are padlocked. There we go, Hill House. This is where we meet Mr. Dudley. I don't think there's any relation to the Harry Potter Dudleys. Oh, it's Dursley, isn't it? Dursley, not Dudley. Dudley Dursley, isn't there? There's that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, so say now, I'm expected, but for some reason he seems reluctant to let her in. For some reason, I don't know why, but. She gets all uppity. As I said, she's kind of neurotic. And so she says, let me in immediately. And she nearly runs him over. She says, all right, I'll let you in. By the way, I'm not American, so I don't know, but the accents they put on do seem very, New Englandy to me. Not that I know a lot about New England American accents, but some of the pronunciations, from what I understand, sound, when they said, dark and stuff like that. They make it sound, not traditional American dark. They say dark, don't they? Like on Jaws, they're in the car. What is it? They're in the yard, not too far from the car. That sort of that sort of thing. Anyway, digging a hole for myself again. Right, so she nearly runs him over. Look, and then she kicks off at him again. I shall report you. So he says, bugger off. Right, so off she goes up to the house, driving around the winding road that plays a part at the end of the film, and then she sees there. We see Hill House. I said now it's then in 1963 it was a lovely hotel, and well, no, I'm lying. Now it's a lovely hotel. Back in 1963 it was quite run down, and the grounds were all overgrown and stuff. But apparently now it's a lovely hotel. 5 stars apparently. But anyway, and as I said, filmed with infrared film, so you get all this stark lighting, and the sky looks black and the clouds look white, and it looks kind of ominous, doesn't it? And there she's saying the house is looking at me and all that. Oh, it's bloody! I'm going to take this jacket off. Just bear with me. Hang on, I'm going to take this jacket off. Put my other one back on. Stop cam. There we go. You can still hear me though. Just bear with it. You might hear some rustling. Bloody thing. Oh, I'll keep the jacket on. It's not cold. Right, I'm back. Right, I'm back. That jacket was getting on my nerves. Right, where were we? Looks like the gates of Elsinore Brewery. Okay, I've never heard of it. Harvard Yard is a good test. I said they're in the yard, not too far from the car. That's Jaws, isn't it? Anyway, right, so she's having a look and says the house is looking at me and all that. And she's saying, she could live in a monologue and all that's going off. Oh, pardon me. I've got the popcorn burps again. I've eaten something that's disagreeing with me. I don't know what. I'm always doing this lately. I've probably got cancer. Anyway, so she's saying she could go and leave because she's scared, but there's nowhere else to go. So, as I said, she's no intention of going back to her sister's. So she's looking up at the dark windows of a hill house, staring down at her, and there's like a point of view as though the house is watching her arrival. Anyway, so she gets out with her little suitcase, looking up at the house again. And she's about to knock on the door, when it opens, and Mrs. Dudley opens the door. And very stern woman, but who's got a lovely smile, as we'll see shortly. That was a Strange Brew reference. Good fun. I've not seen it. Not seen Strange Brew. Not seen it. Anyway, where were we? Mrs. Dudley is played by Rosalie Crutchley, another British actress who's putting on a New England accent. Saying that the dark. That's how I say it anyway, so maybe I'm from New England. So she's the first to arrive, is Eleanor. Not even Dr. Marquis has arrived yet. So, but I said, Mrs. Dudley looks after this house well. Mr. Dudley looks after the grounds, apparently. Not very well. Mrs. Dudley looks after the house, and it's spick and span, as we see when she picks up... Oh, I've missed a bit. As she picks up her... there we go. She can see a reflection in the floorboards. So, it's all kept very clean. I don't know what the point in looking at that reflection for. Maybe it's just to show that Mrs. Dudley looks after the house. I don't know. But she's taking her up to her room. She scares herself with the reflection. That's why she's saying, pull yourself together. And she comes, shows her a room. Looks very nice. From the 60s, I suppose. Of a 100-year-old house. And then she starts explaining that she sets dinner for 6. She says, I don't wait on people, help yourself and all that. And then I go. She sets dinner, then she goes. Her and her husband live in town, miles away. So that if they need anything, there'll be nobody to help. She won't be back until 9 in the morning or whatever, something like that. Because that's when she does breakfast at 9. But she says, there'll be nobody there to help you in the night, in the dark. That's why she's saying it. Looking very morose. And then she smiles. Is this the bit where she smiles? Got a lovely smile. No one lives nearer than that. Hang on. I want to show you. Oh, for God's sake. Go on, smile. There we go. Lovely smile. Lovely smile. Kind of taken with that. Anywho, didn't they remake this movie back in the 1990s? Yes, 1999. Jan de Bont, I think, did it with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liam Neeson and what's his face with the weird nose? Him. And who else? Oh, and yeah, somebody else whose name I can't remember. And it's not very good, to be completely honest. It's not very good. I used to like Special Brew, as in the drink. What tramps drink. Who puts a bloody mirror on the stairs? I know. What is this, Poltergeist 3? Owen Wilson, that's the fella. Yes, him with his funny nose. You'd think he'd have it seen to, wouldn't you? Maybe it's his calling card. I don't know. But I can't take my eyes off it when he's on screen. Oh, dear. Anyway, so she's a good, lovely smile. So she leaves by herself in her room. So she starts getting scared because she thinks she's all alone. And she's wondering, is anybody else going to show up? Or am I going to be locked in this scary house all by myself? That's what she's thinking. But then she hears a noise. She goes and checks the bathroom, as we call it in Yorkshire, the bog. I don't think. No, there's not showing the toilet, are there? I mean, we'd got past this with Psycho 3 years earlier, hadn't we? Showing toilets, but they're not showing it, are they? Then she hears a noise in the other room, and we see it's Theodore's arrived. So Mrs. Dudley's trying to give her spiel about, there's nobody to help you, set dinner at 6, nobody will come in the night, in the dark. Oh, you can just see a reflection there in the corner there, you see, look. It's kind of spooky. It was a popular beer when I was young. It's the beer of tramps and people on park benches. It's Special Brew, isn't it? Anyway, so they're getting acquainted. It's Theo and Eleanor, and she calls her Nell. She says, "How do you know my nickname's Nell?" She says, "Well, that is the affectionate term for Eleanor, is it not?" She does a smile again. Lovely smile. And off she goes in the night. There we go. Right, so they're getting acquainted. Is Theodore, this is Claire Bloom. That's Julie Harris, by the way. Claire Bloom's costumes or clothes or whatever were provided by Mary Quant. Did she die recently, or was it somebody else that died recently? One of these fashion people died recently, didn't they? I think it was Mary Quant, wasn't it? So she did all her clothes to make her look, like a fashionista sort of person. And I think they're all supposed to be American, but you can't really tell. I think Richard Johnson kind of puts a little bit of maybe a mid-Atlantic accent on, a little bit. But Claire Bloom doesn't even bother. But anyway, right, they decide to go exploring. So they're looking around. They get lost in the house. So she's getting upset. As I said, she's a kind of neurotic, easily upset. I went to the theatres to see it, but ended up doing adult stuff with my now ex-wife, who I was dating at the time, so I can't remember any of it. Hugging and a kissing on the back row of the movies, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Bless. Right, where were we? Oh, they're lost. They're lost. So they can't find where they're going. And then they get... there you go. They get cold. They find like a cold spot. But all these, I think, is it got air conditioning? I don't know. But there are vents and stuff in the house. So maybe it's just, let's say, the air system. Because you see, the plants are moving. Look, so there is air flowing, or is that ghosts? Don't know. It never explains it. But they're getting a chill. This is all right. Then we hear like a moan, like a female moan, and. She hears it, but she says, Theo didn't hear that. Only I heard it. The house is speaking to me. Because that's, Theo then says that. The house is calling for you, Nell. So there we go. So they're scaring each other. But then they're found by Dr. Markway. He opens the door. There he is. Richard Johnson. No relation. The most relaxing voice ever. I was listening to him in the commentary. He's in the commentary on the Blu-ray and the DVD. And super relaxing voice. But anyway. Where were we? So, there goes, she said, I thought you might be a ghost. He says, well, how do you know I'm not? So, anyway. So, they go in. He takes them, shows them where he is here. He's telling them all about the house. I said, going to use this parlour or whatever it is as the centre of operations. And then he tells them all about the angles in the house. There's no 90-degree angles. They're all just slightly off. All the angles are slightly off. And all the doors are slightly off. So they never stay open. But anyway, and then Nell says, all these weird angles in this house just add up as a huge distortion in the house itself, being all scientific, I think. But then he's trying to prove his point about this door. He says, see, all the doors close by themselves. Now watch this. And nothing happens, obviously, because nothing happens while you're looking. In the paranormal. Which is true. It is true. You never look. Even if you set a camera up, it'll not happen if you've got a camera looking. It's like, I don't know, it's like a reverse, what they call it, anthropomorphic effect. Where the act of observing something changes it. It's like a reverse for that in the supernatural world. If you're watching something, it generally doesn't, nothing will happen. Or it waits until you're not looking and then does something. That's what used to happen in this house. Not now, but used to wait until you weren't looking. Or it was something that you used to think, did I leave that like that or not? It's them sort of things. But anyway, I'm waffling. Joshua Knapp says, I enjoyed the remake for what it was. It wasn't as good as the House on Haunted Hill remake, though. I wasn't a big fan of the 99 one. I didn't hate it, but, it's not brilliant, is it? It's not brilliant. You see too much. The show, it's all there on screen. Bad CGI. Anyway. It's Balcony Steve. Saturday night at the movies. Who cares what picture we see? Okay. So paranormal is anti-quantum. Yes, it is. It's like in Prince of Darkness. It's like going through the mirror to the hell realm or the supernatural realm. In the balcony. It's back row of the movies, not the balcony. Anyway, what we're doing? Oh, right, checking this door, showing them this door. And obviously, nothing happens, so they're all laughing. Ha 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 ha! What a fool you are! But anyway, right. So we're going for dinner, and then they turn round. See, they weren't looking. The door's shut. And he says, see, told you. We waited for him not to look. Meanwhile, all the statues are looking at them through mirrors and stuff. Look. Oh no, it ain't. It's in front of the mirror. I thought it was reflected in the mirror, but it's in front of the mirror. Whatever. And none of the statues move, unfortunately. But you always think they do, but they don't. Anyway. Right, so they're going for dinner. So they're heading for the dining room. And he says, right, which way is it? And Theo says it's that way, to her right, our left. He says, no, it's the other way. And then he goes into a room with a bang and clatter. No, it's a broom closet. And he says, that proves it. Comes out with a broom. One of you is a witch. Anyway, they find the dining room. They're having salmon, apparently. But then Russ Tamblyn arrives as Luke, stirring I don't know, martini or whatever. I don't bloody know. I think they call it that. So they get all acquainted. And this is where he's telling there were six. There were going to be 6 people there originally, and there's only 2 left. Because they did their research and didn't want to be scared to death in Hill House. Because apparently nobody stayed more than a couple of days, apparently. But they did their research. But Theo and Eleanor didn't. So Dr. Markway says, all the better, you're innocent and you don't know what to expect. It's kind of sinister. It comes across this nice chap, and it probably is, but there is his kind of sinister scientific side, where he's a bit cold. Anyway. It's not those paintings where the eyes follow you around. The eyes, I tell you. Yes. Anyway, they're having a toast, and they said, "What should we have a toast to?" And she says, "To good companions," does Eleanor, and there's, "Except I don't drink," but she does later on. I think she forgets. Obviously, the stuff that happens drives her to drink. Anyway, they're eating away. Luke's wondering how much he'll get for the house when he inherits it, and but they're talking about the food. Obviously, Mrs. Dudley's a good cook, and so she's asking why did they pick those? And apparently Theo is an amazing psychic, and she got 19 out of 20 cards right in test, and Eleanor says, "But I've never had a brush with the supernatural." And he says, "Well, yes, you did, as a child or something. Stones, she had a poltergeist experience. Some stones fell on her house for 3 days, and loads of people witnessed it, and it were even in the police reports and stuff. And she's denying it. She's obviously living in denial. And as their conversation continues, you see that Eleanor's not really paying attention. She's kind of in her own little world in a bit. There you go. Never had anything to do with the supernatural. After this bit, they was talking about the poltergeist, and she kind of denies it. But they carry on with their conversation. But then we see that she's, there you go. She's still fretting about it, and she says it was people throwing stones at the house. She just blurts it out in the middle of the conversation, interrupting everybody. But anyway, that's where we let the house was born bad, much like the Marston house in Salem's Lot. But then Luke says, the local mayor says it's underground water and earth tremors and sunspots. And Dr. Marquis says, if you want to put a scientific thing on it, yeah, blame sunspots. And there you go. That was the neighbours, they threw the rocks. Just totally blurting it out, changing the subject. So he says, I'm sorry, Eleanor, sorry, I didn't mean to upset you and all that. She ends up falling in love with him, by the way. Eleanor falls in love with Dr. Marquis, but it's an unrequited love. Anyway, so I think maybe perhaps she should, she shouldn't have come and all that. But, she said, "Oh, no, we'll stay. I've got nowhere else to go. I'm going to stay here forever," she says. Anyway, there you go. She belongs there. She's having her inner monologue again. So she's having a cup of tea. Dr. Marquis is reading something, and they're playing gin. Is Theo and Luke, and being very loud about it. And they make Eleanor jump, and she spills her tea down herself and all that. So anyway, then Eleanor goes out. She says, "I've got some cleaning stuff in my room," and as she goes out, she screams, and then she says, "I feel like I'm being watched," and so stuff started happening already. They're getting the feeling of being watched. But obviously Luke is the skeptic, by the way. He doesn't think there's anything going on yet. But anyway, so going up to their rooms. By the way, we learned that he's got a key. The gates are locked again. Mr. Dudley's locked the gate, but Marquis has got the key. Anytime anybody wants to leave, they're not trapped. Anytime anybody wants to leave, he's got the key to the gate. So when he's giving them, they've got notes, piece of paper, mimeographed, forms to fill in, their daily experiences. If anything happens to them, to write it down. And this is where he talks about, he pronounces it psychokinesis, where things move by themselves. So we call it psychokinesis, not psychokinesis, which is how I pronounce it, psychokinesis. Anyway. Right, so they're all going to bed. Good night, Dr. Marquis. He says, "John, keeps telling her, call me John." She's falling in love with him. But Theo wants to go in with her and going to change her hair and all that. But she says, "No, I'm tired," so they go to bed. To their separate rooms, but remember, they're sharing a bathroom. So she lies on the bed. It looks really comfy, It looks really comfy, does that bed? So she has a little lie down. And she keeps having morbid, maudlin thoughts, does Eleanor. That's it. The bed's comfortable and stuff, and like drowning. And it's also, we learn that she sleeps on the left side because it wears the heart out faster. We learn that later. That's it, she's having all these dark thoughts because she's a bit. She's had a sad life, so she has all these sad thoughts, I presume. Anyway. Then what happens? I can't remember. I can't remember what she's doing now. Yes, that's it. So, what's she doing? She's just wandering about in a room, that's it. Having little thoughts. And she must get into bed. And then, obviously, the night draws in, and then things start happening. We start hearing, hang on, I'll unmute it. We'll just listen to this as the house comes awake at night. The pounding begins. There it is. Yeah, starting this pounding from somewhere in the house. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Eleanor wakes up and she thinks it's her mother. She says, "All right, mother, I'm coming." Thinks it's her mother banging on the wall for her. So she goes, "All right, mother." And then she realises where she is. And then Theo calls, "Eleanor, Nell, come quickly." So she goes into the other room. Theo's scared. She can hear the pounding as well. Says, "I thought you were pounding." She says, "It was. I mean, I did, but, I'm not now." Because they can still hear it. If she sleeps on the left side, why is she laying on the right side? No, it's on her left side, not the left side of the bed. Sleeps on her left side, like that. It wears the heart out faster. I must admit, I generally sleep on my left side. I sleep on both, but to get off to sleep, I generally have to sleep on the left side first. Don't know why, just do. The pounding begins. Are we back to the theatre conversation? You're a dirty man. Windgrace. Right, so this pounding's going on. It starts getting louder and louder, and then suddenly it gets cold as well. And then suddenly, they're trying to rationalise it. Earth tremor, sunspots. But then starts banging on the door really loudly, on the bedroom door. That makes her terrified. And Eleanor gets all brave. Theo's, who's supposedly the strong character, she's kind of freaking out, terrified, and Eleanor gets all brave. And she's got lovely hair, hasn't she? But as he gets all brave, and as it's pounding on the door, she goes running up and tells it, "Go away!" In a minute. There we go, pounding on the door, "Go away!" And it all stops, and then she realises, oh no, it knows what room we're in now, because she starts thinking it were looking for him, it were going through the house looking for him, whatever it was. And now she's pounded on the door, now it knows what room they're in. Maybe it knew anyway, I don't know, but that's her real reasoning. Anyway, it starts again, really loud, banging on the door. And actually, when they were making it, Robert Wise, he did actually play the noises. He got some recordings of pounding noises, so they could hear it on set. They weren't just saying, "And now you hear the pounding," and get scared. He actually really played loud pounding noises for him to react to. He said it's the first time he's ever done that, because usually on set they might play music and stuff like that to set a mood. But in this, because there's music in this film, but not a huge amount. Actually did play pounding noises for him to react to. But anyway, eventually it goes away. I think it tries to get in. I think the door handle starts turning. So I'll play a bit. It's trying to get in, she said there. And I think the door handle starts turning. Come on, show us. Oh, for Christ's sake. Is it doing it now? Yeah, I think there we go. The door handle starts turning. It's trying to get in, whatever it is. Anyway. Yeah, can't tell you how many times I've experienced ghosts during a solar flare. Yeah. Maybe that's what they are. Maybe ghosts come from the sun. Which is why they just come at night when they get to Earth, because, they're escaping the heat of the sun. Whatever, I don't know, talking... That must be weird. I have to sleep on my stomach with my arms above my head. What, like that? As though you've been arrested. Or do you mean like that? As though you're diving into bed. I don't know. Yes, you're weird. Whatever makes you comfortable, it's fine, innit? As I said, I generally sleep on my left side first, or settle down on my left side first, and obviously I turn over and stuff, because I wake up at night to go for a wee, 'cause I'm old, and I usually find myself facing the other way. So I do turn around. Anyway, whatever. Yes, that's weird. Sci-Fi Quest is weird because he sleeps on his stomach like that. Sleeps in bed like that. Don't sleep on your stomach like that. Is it that or that? Like the Amityville family that got killed at 3:15. Anyway, because they were all found in the same position, weren't they? Sort of like that, weren't they? Shot. Anyway, that's by the by. Have we done Amityville? The Amityville horror? I think we have, haven't we? Have we? I can't remember. I think we have. Where are we? Right, anyway, eventually it stops. It goes away, it like fades away, does the pounding and the banging and the... Oh, and we hear laughing as well. It's either maniacal laughing or it's like somebody like distraught sobbing. I can't make it out. Hang on, see if we can hear it. By the way, has the... Oh, it is on full, yeah, just about. Oh, we're still hearing the noises. Something's searching around the door. Then we hear this maniacal laughing. In a minute, it's searching around the door for them. It does go on quite a while. Whatever, can't find it. But you hear this laughing, or distraught sobbing. I can't decide which it is. I think it says in the subtitles on the Blu-ray, maniacal laughing. But I wasn't exactly sure. Oh, it's gone now. It's gone now anyway, because it's got warm. But anyway, then they hear noises outside. Normal noises, and it's what's his face? Markway and Luke. For God's sake, she opens the door. There they are. Where have you two been? Apparently, what transpired is Markway heard a noise outside his room. Anyway, sorry, Sci-Fi Quest says, have you done Entity? No, I haven't, because it might be problematic, that, or I might have to do some quick editing or something, or be quick on the skip, because there's a bit of nudity in it, isn't there, when she's being attacked. But that's a great film, is Entity, so you never know, I might do. But I've not got it, I've not got a physical copy of that. I don't think. Anyway, this film has an eerie atmosphere. Yes, it does, Castellar. It's a great film. Better than the remake. Where were we? Yes. Dr. Markway heard a noise outside his room, so he got Luke out of bed and said, come on, let's explore. And they thought it was a dog. They thought they were chasing a ghost dog. They ended up going outside chasing it. So they didn't hear anything of what's just happened in the house. Oh, pardon me. So they don't know what's happened. Oh, and they say to her, you look like you've seen a ghost, so they have a good laugh. They go, just something knocking on the door with a cannonball. So, that sort of thing happens with supernatural, because I've had supernatural things happen to me, and you kind of, I've not laughed it off. Particularly in the Our Night of Terror event, if you go on to my website, mercuryrapids.co.uk, we fled the house. That wasn't a laughing matter. But sometimes things that happen are just so weird. I don't think your brain can process it. So you just either ignore it. Sometimes you just ignore it, or you just carry on doing what you were doing. It's weird. Anyway, how about The Wicker Man? I'm not a big fan of that film. I know it's Christopher Lee's favourite of his films he's done, isn't it? If you're on about that one, the original, not the Nicolas Cage one. But I'm not a huge fan of it, to be completely honest. I don't hate it, but I'm not a big fan of it. The Sentinel, Chris Sarandon's a good watch. I don't think I've seen that one. Pretty sure you haven't done Amityville. I thought I had. But never mind. Not the bees. Anywho, where were we? It didn't mar the woodwork. So, Dr. Marquis says, well, I think we'd better take precautions in future. Because, it sounds like if something's trying to lure them outside, while the girls are trapped inside, something's trying to separate them. So, there we go. So then we cut to a shot of the house. Go on, is it going to illuminate? There we go. And then Dr. Marquis got himself a Marauders map. Hasn't he, from Harry Potter? It looks like one, doesn't it? What does it say on here? I can't bloody read the writing. Stairs to something. Can't bloody read the writing. Hall, I can read that. And there's Peter Pettigrew's wandering about somewhere in this, isn't he? Anyway, obviously looking at plans of the house. That's what Dr. Marquis is doing. There he is. Eleanor comes in. She looks at him for a while because she's falling in love with him. And she eventually goes in and she says she was scared last night. He says to her, after what you went through last night, how can you look so pretty? So that's obviously feeding her delusion that he loves her, but he doesn't. Because he's married to Lois Maxwell in the film. So she says, I'm fine and all that. And then he suggests that maybe it was a mistake to ask her to come. She says, it's the first vacation I've had in years. No, it's not a vacation, it's taking part in an experiment. But anyway. So he says to her, maybe, I shouldn't have asked you to come. And then she says, oh, no, I'm going to stay. I want to stay. It's the first vacation I've had, unless you want to get rid of me. He says, oh, no. And this is, but, I don't know anything about Eleanor Lance. And then she goes, oh, she's horrible. But there we go. I dislike lobster, crack my knuckles when I'm nervous. She doesn't say she blinks. Because we saw her earlier on, didn't we, blinking. Auntie Nell is blinking. Curiously, mentioning blinking, Richard Johnson had a little story to tell on the commentary. This is one of his earlier films. I think he'd done one other film before with Frank Sinatra, before he did this. And so he was a stage actor, so he wasn't really, he didn't really know what to do with screen acting. So he asked Robert Wise, accomplished director and editor, asked Robert Wise, some tips about, film acting, what the do's and don'ts of film acting. And Robert Wise says the main one is don't blink too much. Because apparently if you blink a lot on film, obviously you're going to be on a big screen, your head's going to be like 20 foot big or something. Even if you blink, it's like a huge gesture on screen. So he says, try not to blink too much. The trick is to focus on whoever you're talking to. Focus on one of their eyes, not both of them, one of them. Because if you focus on both of them, your eyes will start moving from one to the other. So just focus on one of the eyes and try not to blink too much. Which is, ironic given Auntie Nell was blinking earlier on. But anyway, so that's a tip that Robert Wise gave Richard Johnson. There we go. That's she sleeps on the left side because she read someplace it wears the heart out quicker. But then it says she's falling in love with him. He might be attracted to it. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe it's just his shtick. Maybe he's just curious about her because he's a scientist and all that. If you have done Amity, I can't find it and I don't recall it. Oh, I probably haven't done it then. I might have thought about it. Anyway. Killer bees. Hey. Anyway, don't forget the Swarm. If you want Killer Bees, there's the Swarm, isn't there? Was that Michael Caine? Can't remember. Can't remember. Right, so he's telling him all about. He's telling her all about him now that he's a scientist and all that, and his peers don't really agree with him. Looking for ghosts and stuff like that. So because he's from England, so he came off to America without my Gladstone bag to the study of dead men and dead civilizations. Blah blah blah. So that's how he became interested in the paranormal. Is the Peter Venkman of his day. What about 1963's The Birds? Good film is The Birds. Good film. With Tippi Hedren and Rod Taylor. And a young Veronica Cartwright. 3 names just remembered. I don't like with names. I'm terrible, aren't I? But I'd remembered those. It's good as The Birds. Anyway. Based on a story by Daphne du Maurier, isn't it? The Birds was good, but Squirm is my champion for killer animals. That's that one about worms. I've seen it, but I can't remember what happens in it. I like Food of the Gods. The giant rats and giant chickens and stuff like that. Don't forget Prophecy. We did Prophecy. I know for definitely we did Prophecy. Not the Christopher Walken one, the other one from 1979 with the mutant bear. That one. Anyway, back to this. So, Theo arrives. Yes, because the Dr. Marquis is telling Eleanor, he said they were scared and all that, but he said, well, it was just a sound. It'd been all scientific. You weren't in any danger. I mean, it was just a sound. And I'm thinking, yeah, but something were making the bloody sound. Whether it's just earth tremors or water in the pipes or whatever, it's still something making it, isn't it? Anyway, so I think she falls out here with Eleanor a bit. Because it might be later. Is it this one? No, it must be. Is it later? Yes, it's later. Sorry. Luke arrives. He's found something. So here we go. He's found some writing on the wall, and there we go. It's like "Welcome home, Eleanor," something like that. Show us. Is it "Help, Eleanor, come home" or something like that? Let's have a look. Help, Eleanor, come home. Who wrote that? Don't know. So she freaks out, obviously. Who wrote that? So she blames them for it. It spelled out my name. I spelled it correctly as well. In, what they call it? Joined up writing. What's the word now? For joined up writing, I can't remember. Anyway. Anyway, whatever. Right. So she's all upset now. So she's getting a bit hysterical. There we go. Simmer down, Nell. But then Theo says some nasty things to her, and he's doing it for attention and all that. Maybe you did it for attention. Mrs. Dudley's, she's trying to get her message across, and he's saying, "Mrs. Dudley, please." But Nell is getting all upset, so Eleanor gets a rise out of her to help her stop him being scared. Because she's freaking out. You suggested I change my hair, blah. She's screaming at it because she's highly strung, is Eleanor. Anyway, so she calms down. They calm her down and said, we'll continue the tour of the house this afternoon. Apparently they were going to do it now, but she's going to go take her to her room and calm down. Right, so we cut to later on that afternoon. They find the statues in the, I don't know, arboretum, I don't know what they call it, greenhouse. So they find these. It's supposed to be, there we go, St. Francis curing the lepers, but they say it's more likely it's Hugh Crane and his 2 wives and Abigail and the dog and the companion and all that. So there we go. They're talking about how they remind them of each other and Theo says the dog is obviously Luke. There we go. She's Abigail grown up. Markway could be old Hugh. Then Luke tries to, I don't know, feel up. Theo says, keep your hands to yourself, because there's a kind of a suggestion that Theo's attracted to Eleanor. Woke. So even in 1963, though, the LGBTQ plus stuff going on. But it was, it was subtle. It was subtle. But anyway. Then Eleanor said, Eleanor doesn't know how to dance. And she says, I do. And then she asks Hugh for a dance. There we go. So it's all like that. Then the wind blows open the door and it startles them all. And then we're told that one of the statues has moved, but we don't see that. We don't see it's moved. But then she says, nothing moves until you look away, which I found is quite true. I said the reverse. It's like the angels, isn't it? The what they call them, angels from Doctor Who. They don't move unless you look away from them. Anyway, you're talking about B movies. I miss the old creature features. Hey. Orca, the Whale, Grizzly, films like that. That's what I watch. I say Food of the Gods. What else have I seen? Can't remember. Day of the Animals, Frogs. That was a bad one. Night of the Lepus, starring DeForest Kelly, of all people. There was another one, what was it? Bradford Dillman. Oh, what was that one now? That was about like insects that start fires, and I can't remember what it was called. That was a good one. Anyway, Weeping Angels, yes, them, yes. Anyway, they're going to say, oh, she stomped on my toe. Anyway, so off they go. It's showing them the library, but Eleanor doesn't like it because it reminds her of her mother's room, the smell of it, but they can't smell anything. But she doesn't like the library, so she doesn't go in. So she goes off exploring by herself, does Eleanor, while they're going in the library. So here we see the spiral staircase where the companion hanged herself. I wonder what all the books are. I wonder if they're interested in. Don't know. I bet they're all videos. Them, all VHS tapes in them books, isn't there? Like that Peter Kay skit, isn't it? Hey, Mick, you've been doing a lot of reading. It's not a book. It's not a book, look. Got VHS in it. Anyway. Where were we? So, there we go. So, they're saying, I could turn this into a nightclub. We'll put a band in there and some dancing girls coming down the staircase. And then it starts rocking. There's the staircase. Oh, in a minute. Here it goes. Apparently they did this. It was totally safe all the time. What it was like, had a rod or like connected pieces of the staircase, but it had like a cable, a big thick cable going down the middle of it that would, that was attached to each end, and that they could tighten it up, the cable, and it'd make the staircase solid. But if they wanted it to rock like that, they'd just loosen it a bit and it'd wobble about. But it was completely safe. But as Richard Johnson said in the commentary, they always say that in films. Some directors, they always say it's completely safe, and they know very well it's not. But anyway, never liked Pumpkinhead. I tried to watch it a few times. I've never liked Pumpkinhead. Anyway, where were we? Right, so there is. The house is telling him loud and clear to get the hell out of there. Meanwhile, Eleanor's nearly going to fall off this balcony. She's looking back. This kind of gets repeated later on. He was talking about the house and Hugh Crane being vile and hideous and all that. But she kind of, like something comes at her. Or we get like a POV of something rushing towards her. If it does it. In a minute. Here we go. Is it this one? Come on. There we go. Ah! And she nearly falls. And she repeats that later on in the film where she's leaning back at the top of the spiral staircase. But he saves her, look. He saves her and they embrace because she's madly in love with him. He's thinking, she can't cope with it. He's wanting to send her away. She's having a breakdown. She says, I'm not breaking down, all hysterically. And he's saying, it says to it, and then he turns scientist and he says, if just one thing that you mark on your papers turns out to be something you've imagined or hallucination, then this whole experiment will be for naught. But there he says, maybe I'm just being selfish. But then obviously the house does seem to be focusing on Eleanor. The others arrive and he tells them what happened. Marquis suggests that Theo moves in with Eleanor, so she says, yeah, fine, be like sisters. But she's saying, no, I don't want to, I've got my own room finally. But, it'd be fine, be like sisters. So then she's painting her nails and she's drinking. Earlier on she said she didn't drink, but now she does. Pardon me. Oh, God. So she's drinking and painting her nails and giggling and all that stuff. There you go. So she starts talking about her apartment that she's just got. There we go. And she's lying. She hasn't got an apartment because we just learned that, she was sleeping on her sister's couch for 2 months. So she hasn't got an apartment. She's telling fibs and she talks about the 2 stone lions that she wants on the mantelpiece and all that. But anyway, so she settles down. There we go. She's talking about she wants to go on an island or whatever. But then she gets angry all of a sudden. There you go. She's, I'm at the public dump or something for everybody's fear. She's like she could turn like that. It's bloody high maintenance, is Eleanor. Anyway, and then she calms down again. I don't want to leave Hill House ever. Anyway, so they settle down. There's Mark, we're wondering about. Oh, he's found a cold spot. He calls to him. I found something. He's found a cold spot. He says it's the heart of Hill House, and it's outside the nursery. Remember where old Abigail passed away. So they're experiencing a cold spot. Obviously can't see it. But they toddle off back to bed. And Luke is interested in it. He's saying, this is something I can feel. There we go, the floor's solid, And hang on, he does is he going to show it? Like a special effect where they had his breath. Is he going to do it? Go on. No, he's not going to bloody do it, is he? Have I gone too far? Whatever. He goes, and it shows his breath. Bloody, it's not going to show it. Never mind. It shows his breath anyway. It's not going to do it, is it? No, it didn't. Never mind. So anyway, so that's interesting. They're obviously sharing the room. Were there 2 beds in that room originally? I can't remember. Is this Eleanor's room? It is, isn't it? Yes, there were 2 beds, weren't there? Yeah. Right, so they're settling down. For some reason, she's getting angry again at something. Theo says something to her, gets her angry again. As I said, she's highly strung. Says, shut up and go to sleep. Right, so passage of time. Eleanor, it's the scariest bit of the film for me. We start hearing the moaning and ghostly talking and crying and laughing and all this stuff. I'll play it. Have I unmuted it? I'd be crapping myself. It gives me the chills now. Anyway, she's watching this wallpaper. I think this is supposed to be a vent, like a vent that's got wallpaper over it, and I think so, anyway, because part of it turns dark, or as though we're looking into. So I think she's supposed to be hearing it from somewhere else in the house, coming through the vent system. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, she's terrified. We don't get a wide shot of where we'd just seen her in bed, didn't we? In the bed next to Theo. But spoilers, she's not there anymore. But we're supposed to think she is. Anyway, as she's watching. There we go, hearing more noises, laughing, and fella going, giving it all that. But the face appears in the pattern in the wallpaper, the eyes there, and the mouth there, and they go dark for some reason. That's why I was thinking, is it wallpaper over a vent, a grill vent, or something like that? I don't know. Hang on, where are we? Did anyone else notice the hands covering her face? Which face? I don't know which you mean. Where we're looking? Hang on, let's go back then. Hang on. Let's go back and see what you mean. Tell me when to stop. The hands covering her face. Do you mean in the wallpaper, the pattern there? Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Like with the leaves. Kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Is that what you mean? Could be, couldn't it? That's it, isn't it? As I said, there's the mouth and the eyes. They turn dark. They go, please don't let it know you're in my room. But she ends up getting angry at it because we hear that gets more angry, does the voice. And then we start hearing a kid crying, a child. Yeah, scariest bit of the film. She's freaking out. Don't scream. There we go. As the light changes, so the eyes and the mouth get darker, just to emphasise that it's supposed to look like a face. We've all seen faces in patterns, haven't we, on the curtains or in the wallpaper or whatever. So she's terrified. Still going. Is it still going on?
Is it over?
Oh.
Do you think it's over?
No, it didn't. She says, Theo, hold my hand. Remember, we think she's in bed next to Theo. Says, Theo, hold my hand. So somebody does hold a hand, and she's saying, Theo, you're squeezing too tight. Then the voice starts again. We hear what sounds like a child in pain or upset. So she gets angry. There you go. I won't endure this. I won't. It's hurting a child. So she's going to scream out to tell it to stop it. And then she shouts out, stop it. And Theo puts the light on. Then we see she'd gone to sleep on the chaise lounge. And Theo wakes up and says, what, Nell, what? So she's way over the other side of the room. So this is the bit where in the trailer, whose hand was I holding? Hang on, mute it. Whose hand was I holding? And all that. I've drawn that shot. Not very well. Creepy kid laughter and voices always a winning move. Yes, it is. Scariest bit of the film for me is that. Gives me the chills. I've got the chills now. I want to put my jacket back on. Anyway. Right, so next day. Passage of time. She probably went and filled out her form, stuff that happened. Scary face on the wallpaper. Terrifying voices coming from somewhere in the house. Kids crying. Woman laughing. Man moaning. Something held my hand, almost broke it. I shat myself. Anyway. So next day, Dr. Markway is reading a book, and this harp goes bling by itself as he looks up. There we go. So he marks it down. There we go. Checks his watch, writes it down, and Eleanor arrives. Yeah, it was playing with itself. So you just missed the Hill House concerto for harps. I said, oh, were you playing the harp? I said, no, it was playing itself. But he doesn't think that's supernatural. He thinks it's from the world of the preternatural. Something that we can't explain now, but we probably will be able to at some point. Like, I suppose meteorites, they were preternatural at one point. Nobody believed that rocks from space were a real thing, even though they were all around. But eventually it was proved that they were, rocks from space. That was right up until like the 18th century or something like that. But anyway. No, we was talking about it, the preternatural. Another one. Arthur C. Clarke always said, he thought spontaneous human combustion had been explained, but I don't think it has it? But anyway, it's an auto harp. Has it got like a barrel in with all little pegs on? One of them, like a piano, like a pianola has. Anyway. Right, where were we? She's upset. Hey, go and say it. You've been trying to say since you got here. She's scared and all that. But it's saying, this is where he's saying. I thought it were earlier on, but it's this. Face on the wall, knockings, bangings. What's there to be afraid of? He wasn't there, was he? Neither were I. I was just watching the film and I was crapping myself. Anyway. But it's where he's talking about, primitive superstitions and all that. You shouldn't be afraid of noises or, faces in the fire sort of thing. But it's been all scientific anyway. They go, what banged on the door was a ghost, what held your hand was a ghost, etc. So he's blaming everything on the ghost, but it might not have been that. As I said, though, he wasn't there, so he's been an arsehole. Oh, bad me. Anyway, and then she's telling about what happened the night her mother died, and says her mother used to knock on the wall, and she'd go and see to her. But the night that she died, she was knocking on the wall, and she didn't go because she was exhausted. I think she spent all day cleaning up the dirty laundry and stuff like that are looking after her mother and stuff. And she was exhausted and she just couldn't handle it anymore. So she just ignored her for one night and she died. And she blamed herself. And so that sort of like echoes with the companion and Abigail, doesn't it? Where she was knocking, where Abigail and the companion ignored. And she died. So that's probably why the house wants her, isn't it? It's probably why the house has chosen her. Anyway. The remake did make it more clear the whole experience was to study how fear affected the participants. But I don't think Liam Neeson in that, his character, I don't think we were expecting all the CG ghost would be appearing and stuff, did it? Anyway, a ghost is just a friend we haven't met. Oh dear. I wonder if Project Metal is on Blu-ray. No idea. Not seeing it. Where were we? She's saying, there you go, she's always brought her medicine. She always did, but that night she didn't. And so she feels, should she feel bad? And he said, of course, it's not your fault. You're human. You were exhausted and disgusted and all that stuff. And, stop trying to make it out that you're a saint or a martyr. You're a human being. And then you go, she's getting goosebumps because she's falling in love with him. And then they get interrupted by something. I think dinner or something. I can't remember. Luke's looking at a book. There he is. By Hugh Crane. A book that he gifted to his daughter. Lust. So there's the 7 deadly sins and stuff like that. Anyway. There you go. Memories for Abigail Lester Crane, a legacy of her education and enlightenment from her father. Not light reading for a kid. Honour the authors of thy being, daughter, thy father and thy mother. Whatever. Right, so what's happening next? She shouts at Hugh Crane and the house in general, saying, spend eternity in that foul, rotten book. And she gets upset quickly. She's a bit neurotic. And Luke jokes that he's going to rip out the pictures and send them as Christmas cards. But it's obvious that, the house is affecting Eleanor badly. And we can see that Mark Way is realising this now and is thinking about sending her away. But she'd she'd got angry at Theo again. She called her a monster. You're the monster of Hill House. And they was come inside, you revolt me. You know, she's bloody hell. And then she calls her a freak or whatever. I forgot. Hang on, we'll see in a minute. What does she call her? A freak of unnatural things. What does she call her now? There we go. Nature's mistakes. That's what she calls Theo, you know, because of her psychic powers. And that you know, cuts her to the quick because she gets all cold as though what she said made something change in the house. Maybe, I don't know, but that's my opinion. That's my way of reading it. Then a taxi arrives, and out steps Lois Maxwell, Moneypenny from the James Bond films. She plays Grace Marquay, obviously Dr. Marquay's wife. Pardon me. When she's arrived, there's Eleanor all upset. Who are you? I'm Grace Marquay. And she says, I'm trying to warn you. But apparently, a journalist, a reporter's been phoning her all day. And they knew that word had got out that he'd rented out Hill House, and you know they wanted to know what were going on. And they blamed the Dudleys. They said the Dudleys must have blabbed in town. So she's come to tell him, you know, that there's a reporter looking for him. And she's asking, you know, she's saying, you know, it's time to give this up and come back home with me. But he says, I can't. We're on the verge of a breakthrough, blah, blah, blah. She says, right. So she gives pays the driver, and he goes off. And he says, right, so I'll stay here then. I'll stay here with you. There we go. Joins a ghost hunt. The lovely Lois Maxwell. Yes, she'd been in Doctor No, hadn't she, previous to this? That was 1962, wasn't it? This is 63. So he says, right, so we'll go find a room for her, and then he says, better put me in the ghastly dungeon. Says there's no dungeons at Hill House, and then Nell blurts out because she's evil. You can sleep in the nursery. So he says, right, I'll go sleep in the nursery. Thank you, my dear. The nursery it is. And then she goes, oh, no, I didn't mean it. Don't sleep in the nursery. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. There we go. He says, oh, you know, stuff and nonsense. So off they go. Oh, and then Dr. Marquis says, I can't do anything about it. I haven't got the key for the nursery. So anyway, how did you get through the locked gate? He says, I got a key. Mrs. Dudley's not averse to a $5 bill. But then he says, I haven't got a key to the nursery. And then they look, the door's wide open. So in she goes. She says, right, I'll stay and spend the night in the nursery. The cold spot seems to have gone, by the way. So they sort it out for her. So she's going to stay in there. And he said, you're not to be in this room alone tonight. She says, oh, nonsense, I'll be fine. So he decides, does Dr. I missed this bit. Hang on, see what she does. Hang on, go back again. What's a special ghost trap? Leave the door. Oh, no, she doesn't leave the door open. What's the ghost trap? Maybe it's just an imaginary one. I don't know. Or maybe she's a ghostbuster. Anyway. Maybe she's got a proton pack in there as well. So Marquay decides that they're not going to sleep in their rooms. They're going to sleep down in the parlour. And, Theo and Eleanor are. And Marquay and Luke are going to take turns patrolling around the nursery to make sure nothing happens to Grace. This is what they call it. It's not a split diopter. It might be. I don't know. Or it's a special effect. We see Eleanor here, obviously close up. The background's also in focus, so it's kind of like a split diopter. But I think they've like cut out or something. This part here, because as you can see, there's some weird movement there where a shoulder is. So I think it's like a superimposed bit here where they've cut that out. But he likes doing stuff like that, does Robert Wise. Like I say, he likes using like split diopters. It's like a lens in it in the camera that you can adjust it, can't you? And so that the foreground and the background's in focus. He went mental with it in Star Trek: The Motion Picture for some reason, unnecessarily. But anyways, this is the similar thing, where she's in focus and the background is in focus, and the scary wallpaper. So she's thinking about, not leaving and all that. And me. It's just where Theo's telling her about this sleeping down in the parlour. Come on. Pull yourself together. They're asleep. And Markway's asleep. Luke comes in with his torch, flashlight. Yes, I think she's teasing. Yes, I think she is. But no, she's a ghostbuster. She's got a ghost trap. She's got a proton pack and a ghost trap in a suitcase. Maybe Q give her one. A ghost trap, that is, not, the other. Behave. Right, so he wants a drink. There he sees a bottle of whatever it is, whiskey I think it is, on the shelf. It's a mantelpiece. He's going to have a swig of that, is Luke. And just as he's swigging, the door slams shut. Bang, like that. And he nearly drops the whiskey. Everybody wakes up. Says, what are you doing here? So I needed a drink. But he's coming now. They've separated them now, haven't they? The house has separated them from Grace. The banging, the pounding begins again. And he says, oh, no, Grace, I've got to go help her. And they say, oh, no, it's pounding down here. It's nowhere near the nursery. He says, no, I've got to go and see. But he goes up to the door. And this is where the famous scene where the door starts bending in a minute. And it's cold. They're hearing the pounding going on. I think it does. The door latch goes. Then the door starts doing its bending. Is it good? There we go. I've read somewhere how they did this and I've forgotten. I think it's just like a rubber door, or it's like wood parts of the door, like the pattern, that the carvings just stuck on a flexible thing, and they just pushed it from the other side with a rod, a pole. So the door starts flexing. So there it goes, for whatever reason. It's the only like tangible thing in the film, really, isn't it? There's his breath that we see, and there's the noises and stuff, but this is like the big visual thing, isn't it, that we see. There we go, the door giving it all that. And the hinge coming off. But anyway. So the pounding continues, and then they say, oh, it's in the nursery. So they go running up eventually. I think Eleanor runs out first, I think. Yeah, she does. Eleanor runs out first. Or is it... they go out, that's it. And then she runs out, and she's freaking out. We're getting all these noises and stuff, as though the house is... She says in a monologue that, the house is coming down around me. It's destroying itself. And obviously it's not. It's just noises. But it's freaking her out. She's getting wrapped up in net curtains. I think she ends up in the library in a minute. In this scene, in the 1999, with the big ghost faces appearing in the curtain there, wouldn't they? They did that, didn't they? It looked terrible. The mirror falls down. But you can see the... never mind. You could see the string holding it on. Never mind. Right, yes, she ends up in the library. Or was that the nursery? No, she's the nursery. She goes and checks the nursery. See what's happened to Grace. But she's not there. Where has she gone? We don't know. And I don't think it's ever explained. But we'll get there. We know what happened with Grace. We do see her again, but I don't think she explains what happened. Anyway, so Grace has disappeared, so they've got to go looking for her. There you go, she's at the statue talking to Hugh. And starts dancing. She's kind of, she's gone. The house has got Eleanor. There you go, she's dancing away, look. Saying she's going to live there forever. Anyway, there you go, off she goes. And she ends up in the library. There we are. And she goes up the spiral staircase. And they come in after her. Up she goes. They had on the rail. They designed the staircase so that the camera could be fitted onto the rail. Must have had some sort of, ball bearings or something, or pulleys. Anyway, the camera could go up the rail. They could pull it up or pull it down or whatever, so that it followed her going up the stairs. In a minute, if we find a shot of that, there we go. It's going on this rail, the camera rig. I think they showed one earlier on, I think, about going down fast, but anyway. So she ends up at the top, and she's like, I think she's going to jump off. She thinks she's going to recreate what happened to the companion who hanged herself. I think she's going to either hang herself or jump off. So Markway goes up, follows her up. I think the staircase is all wobbly, and that's not Julie Harris, is it? Who's that? Oh, no, it is. That didn't look like her then, did it? It is her, though. I thought that was a stunt person then. Anyway, she gets to the top, and there we go. It starts shaking again, look. But he gets up, and she leans back, like she did on the balcony earlier on. She does this, really leans back. And she goes leaning over, and he grabs hold of her and pulls her back. And says, "Come on, come down," and all that. But then as she looks, and then we see Grace looking all dishevelled, and then she disappears again. So Nell screams and faints. What's Grace doing up there? God knows. God knows. Sci-Fi Quest says, Bailey isn't here yet. Changed to next week, as my niece is ill. Oh, right. I hope your niece gets better soon. Hope your niece gets better. Got to wait for Bailey, the beagle. Right. She's come to, because she said she fainted, and she's come to and got dressed and everything, and she's saying it was Mrs. Markway, what was she doing up there? We don't know. But it's decided they're getting her out of there. They're getting Nell out of there. Luke says he's brought a car round, and she said, she begs with Luke, said, let me stay here, I'll look after the place. All it would cost you is just my keep. Pardon me. She's determined to stay there. But said, no, you're going. Because obviously the house, it wants her. And said, no, all I've got. She tells that her apartment is not real. I'm living at my sister's. Everything I own is in that suitcase and a carton in my car. But no, they're sending her away to save her. And Luke's going to go with her to make sure she's all right. So, anyway, I said they can hear stuff from the house. The wind's blowing, look, because it's spooky. That could represent what's going to happen soon. Something's coming from the house towards her car. But, because I'd be invited on to Sidetrack again Sunday. Cool. Never invited me back. Don't like me. Don't think Jay likes me. Not bothered. Anyway, there will be. So she gets in the car, and Luke's going to go with her. He's going to sit in the passenger seat. So he gets in, and making sure she's okay. She says, I don't want to stay. But it's for the best that she leaves. And Markway says, I'll write to you and all that. So off they go. Oh, they're about to go, but Luke says, oh, hang on, I need the key. I need the key for the gate. So while they're talking, he's giving him the key, because he's like, oh, what pocket is it in? She's like, I'm going to drive off. The house tricks them so easily, so she drives off. I don't know where she's going. She wants to stay at the house, so why does she drive off? I don't know, she just does. I can ask if you like. No, you're all right. You're all right. She drives off, and I don't know why, but she just does. But then something takes control of the car, as we see. There we go. Why does she just stop it? Why does she just hit the brakes? But she doesn't. She's just careening round the estate, the Hill House estate, out of control. And then she sees Grace There we go. And she crashes into the tree, the very tree that Hugh Crane's first wife crashed into. Jesus didn't take the wheel this time. No, he didn't. So she crashes the car. There we go. Crashed it really badly. Look, it's on its side. But anyway, so they all come running up. I don't know how long it took them to get there because she was driving quite fast and maybe it was a windy road and they've cut across. I don't know. Anyway, she's dead. Poor Eleanor's dead. So Hill House has got another ghost and then she's there. What were you doing? And does she explain it? I can't actually remember. That terrible house, she says. I woke up, I was frightened, I tried to find your room, but I got lost. There you go, that's all she said. That's her explanation. She got lost. What, in the attic or whatever? I don't know. And then she ended up outside. I think the suggestion is the house has affected her, so she lost her mind for a bit, or maybe it was controlling her slightly. I don't know. It's leave it ambiguous, I suppose. But anyway, Eleanor's dead, so he's going to go back to the house. Is Mark Wayne phone for the police and all that, and sort things out. Poor Eleanor, but then they said maybe not poor Eleanor. Poor Eleanor, she got what she wanted. She's going to stay at the house forever. There you go. It's going to call the police. So. Then old Luke says that he looks at the house. We get a shot of the house, and he looks at it and he says it should be burnt to the ground, and it should be burnt down, and the ground sowed with salt. And then we get a final bit with Eleanor's voice talking about the house. That Hill House has lived for 90 years, has existed for 90 years, and it may last for 90 years more. And whatever walks there walks alone, and that's how it ends. The end, the haunting. There we go, and that's the end of the film. No massive long, lots of credits in those days. It went on for 20 minutes. The film just ended. And it's an amazing film. Nell is really not one to have her own agency. Not really. She's a bit neurotic, wasn't she? But anyway, so that's the end of The Haunting. Oh, I've done that, haven't I? Never mind. There we go, remove that. I've done something. There we go. Stop playing. The film started again for some reason. Oh dear. So that's the end of The Haunting. A great film. I love it. It's one of my favourites. It's not exactly action-packed, and you don't see anything apart from a bendy door. But it's all noises, and it's all atmosphere, and it's all the power of suggestion. I say it's a great film. You didn't need to see anything. It's a great film. A million times better than the 1999 one. Can't compare it to the Netflix series because it's just so different. But that were good. I enjoyed the Netflix series. Trying to find all the ghosts in the background and stuff. That were cool. But anyway, no double features. No double features. They kill me. They do. Hang on, Sci-Fi says, when was you on with Jay? I'll look for it and give it a watch. Oh, I don't know. It were ages ago. It was a Stargate thing. There was some sort of Stargate special or something he were doing. So I were on in all my Stargate club. And they booted me off after, I don't know, about half an hour. They said, right, Steve, see ya. And I were gone. I was like, all right, fair enough. But I don't think he likes me. But whatever, I'm not bothered. Anyway, so that's the end of The Haunting. Great film. Watch it. It's on, hang on, where have I put it? It's on Blu-ray and DVD. I don't think there's much difference in I think they've got the same special features on. Because I've got the DVD as well. And I think it's the same special features, just a commentary track. Maybe there's a special edition with documentaries and stuff, I don't know, but I ain't found it. Right, we'll leave it there. For tonight. What's coming up next? Sunday I'll be doing my news stream. Monday, it's over there. I haven't got it out yet. Monday's a magnificent Mondays. This week is RoboCop. I haven't decided what next week's. Oh, I have. Sorry, I have. I'm lying. Next week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. Just a minute, let me find it. Where have I put the bloody thing? There we go. This one's a guilty pleasure for me. This one's a guilty pleasure. I don't know. It might be a bit divisive, this film, but I love it. It's not the best film ever made, but I love it. I don't know if it should it be classed as a horror film. I suppose it is. But anyway, we're doing Virus next week. Jamie Lee Curtis. Proper guilty pleasure film. I love it. People say it's crap, but I think it's great. Donald Sutherland hamming it up. Great film. I love it. Right, so that's next week. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks, Sci-Fi Quest and Josh Temple and Joshua Knapke and Win Grace and Daniel Castellar Daniel Garcia. Sorry, mate. Butchered your name. I do apologise. Thanks for helping me out in the chat. It means a huge amount to me that you just give up your time. Josh Knapke says, Virus is okay. I love it. Looking forward to Robocop. Yes, so am I. I've been playing the Robocop Rogue City game, which probably inspired me to do, that film. And it's all right. I'm not loving it, but I haven't finished it yet. I've been doing Tomb Raider Remastered. So when I've done that, I'll go back to Robocop. Right, so we'll leave it there. So, as I said, thanks, for giving up your time for listening to me droning on about an old film that gives me the willies every time I watch it, particularly the face in the wallpaper scene. But thanks for that. It means a lot. So, Sci-Fi Quest says, great as always, and may the Schwartz be with you. I'll see Spaceballs for ages. I'm going to have to watch it. Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. And wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll say there.